This week at Shuchin Academy, I found my favorite episode of Season 2. That was one hell of a ride to watch, which just makes me question myself as to why I love watching this comedy show for its heavy emotional moments instead of actual comedy. Welcome to Gamerturk Student Council, please take your seats and let's talk about Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2, Episode 6. We got an election to cover. Two parts this week, first one being the election speeches themselves and the second being the aftermath. Both had equally beautiful and heartfelt moments, but the first part is easily the better half for me. So relatable and well portrayed the heavy moments in the first part that the second half was simply the quote-unquote winding down portion because you held your breath throughout the entire first half. I feel like that short summary is more than enough for the overview. Kaguya Manga Volume 7 affiliate links in the description, although we're almost done with that, so I'll add Volume 8 as well if you want to read them yourselves. But without further ado, let's get on with the episode. I absolutely love everything in the first part, and as I'm rewatching the episode while writing this script, more and more come to my attention. How it begins as if Iino Miko is in control of the situation, with her act being something we can gloss over as a simple totem at first glance, you know, the meaningless ones that, like, your team has an important game, so you and your family sit around the TV in a specific order to magically help your team win, just a silly act to feel better. During the entire speech of Shinomiya, we focus on Osaragi and how they are trying to sway the overall atmosphere of the room as it all builds up and up to how will Iino stand up to all of this, and then a quick cut suddenly shakes you back into the reality you are not expecting when the scene switches to Iino Miko doing her totem again. She's not at all in control of the situation, so much so that she was even completely out of the game until she heard her name on the speaker. I love how everything from that moment on just gets you more and more nervous about the situation. It's all presented in a way where you don't cringe at Iino Miko, you genuinely feel bad about her. And then Ishigami's weirdly hostile remark from the beginning of the episode comes back like a beautiful summer breeze as Shirogane finally gets it and steps up himself. That was such a great moment and once again made sure that Ishigami is the MVP of yet another episode with a handful of lines he spouted in the 20-minute stretch. It's really great how Shirogane intervenes as well. His initial words sound harsh, but it's obvious he's not there to ridicule her. He picks his words and tone very carefully. He starts on the far side of the stage, inviting Iino Miko to step off, knowing she wouldn't. He tries to get her to snap out of it by talking about one of her most ridiculous campaign promises. Only after seeing that she's still looking at the crowd, he takes a couple steps forward and eventually forces herself to look at him in the eye, thus forcing her not to look at the crowd instead. He twists the entire presentation, which is meant to be towards the crowd watching, wonderfully into a debate between two people. I love the entire shift from Iino Miko stepping onto the stage and her finally gaining the courage to debate with Shirogane Miyuki. I didn't even go into the other things, like how much Osaragi cares about Iino's backstory as to where her sense of justice comes from, how she was made fun of for those values, etc. All of which just makes it all better in the end, that despite her loss for once, Iino Miko having people on her side was a really heartwarming moment. Jokes here and there throughout the part were very well toned, they were light to not step over the emotional moments, and at the end, Shirogane shitting a couple bricks at the low margin was great to bring you back into a cheerful mood, which is a good transition into a much lighter toned second half of the episode. And by second half, I mean the final 5 minutes of the 20-minute episode, obviously. This part was, of course, more joke-oriented and I was wondering what had happened to Kaguya in that final scene of the first half. God damn it, Hayasaka. I mean, I'm not sure if that scene was from earlier, but it sure looked that way with Chika and Kaguya checking the boards for the first time. I would assume so. After an invitation to Iino Miko and the rest of the council officially coming back together, we move on to the infirmary for Kaguya, and I have to say, I so was out of it at this point that the romantic comedy in a romantic comedy felt like too out of place after everything we went through in this episode. I did get a fine chuckle to many of the small things Hayasaka did, especially the zoom out zoom moment with the voice going up and down. Well, in a sense, if I think about it, my attitude to Kaguya's situation was exactly the same as Hayasaka's reaction. I could not give a fuck about the constant yelling, but in the end, it turned out to be a cute moment as well. To be frank, Hayasaka made this bit for me. The subtle things she makes or says just makes this scene flow so much better, like whispering to her ear and jumping out of the window, and then her reaction outside of the window. It just makes the incredibly cheesy and overblown scene that I wasn't in the mindset to follow just flow smoothly. And alas, the year of the new student council begins, and from next week onwards, they will have a new member among them. And I certainly am looking forward to it. As for this week, if it wasn't clear, I am thrilled about the step up in regards to personal emotion-filled episodes these past 2 weeks. Last week's episode was my favorite so far, which I had added that we still had more episodes to come and it was too early to declare a favorite, and this week, I was proven right. I have a new favorite in Kaguya Season 2. It doesn't take the cake over Season 1 finale. That was something really magical and special, but it was close. It was very close, with having much lower stakes as well. So that's definitely a huge plus. As for my favorite moment from the entire episode, Shirogane's acknowledgement of Ishigami's words. Top tier moment there that definitely stands out, even in such an amazing part of the episode overall. What was your favorite moment this week? Do let me know in the comments, and definitely hit that like button and subscribe for more. Links to Kaguya-sama Love is War manga in the description. Huge thanks to all my patrons and channel members as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay cool.